This is Outlandish Zicky Dice, and you're watching the best of old school and new school. This is the Nation Network. Outlandish.
Hello, everybody. And there goes the voice again. Excuse me. Welcome back to the Nation Network. Vince McSham with you here, and it is time for our second, that's two, if you're counting, episode of Collector's Corner. And this is where we come on here, we show you some of the stuff we've collected, want to see the stuff you've collected that's regarding wrestling. So whether it's old programs, whether it's maybe some, you know what, I think it'd be cool if somebody has the old posters that used to go up on like phone poles and stuff like that, advertising the matches, magazines, belts, figures are popular, whatever you got. You can either get on here live. The link is already up here in the chat, and you can jump in with a stream and a camera and some stuff. Or if you're not so inclined, you can just go ahead and take a picture of what you got and send it to me over on Twitter X, and that's at One Nation Network. And I will then post it up here, and we can all talk about your stuff together. All right, well, let's kick things off here. As always, I got to do this in numbers, you know, strength in numbers, as they say. So please help me welcome the one, the only J-Rocks. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Doing good? That's good. Good, you're doing good. Let's see who's in the chat so far. We got Freddie and Chuck. How you guys doing? Freddie and Chuck, you got any collectible stuff? What you got, man?
I know Chuck's
share with the community. What about Chuck?
I said I know Chuck's got to have something.
Oh, I think they both got something. What do you got there today, J-Rocks? What you bring?
I got a couple things.
Got a couple things?
Things that you wouldn't consider as wrestling collectibles, but they are, in fact. So,
no, you've piqued my curiosity. Oh, damn, Chuck's in the hospital.
Oh, that's right. I didn't know if he had gotten back home yet or not.
Well, we hope you get back home soon. But Chuck, in the meantime, you still got a collectible right there. You got that. You got that bedpan that they smacked Vince McMahon over the head with.
I think that might have what caused all the problems he's having.
I'm not sure. I think the problems came before the bedpan. I have a funny feeling there's a lot of divas that are watching that back and forth in slow motion, though, and just enjoying it each and every time because he nailed him with that sumbitch.
Oh, yeah, he did. That made a nice clang.
Well, geez, Chuck, hope you're feeling better soon. Get back. All right. So J-Rocks has a collectible. It's not a collectible of wrestling, but it is a collectible of wrestling. So what's it look like?
Well, like I said you wouldn't consider them wrestling collectibles, but they are. So the first thing I've got is my original ticket stub. Let's see here.
Yeah, it's hard with the glare sometimes. I know. Look at it.
Whoa, that's why I was trying to get
Hold on. Don't move. Unleashed.
Yep.
From Sunday, November of 2003?
Yep.
At 2 p.m.
Yes, it was. The Unleashed tour was considered a house show. So it was.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, why do I not recall a pay-per-view called Unleashed? And that's why.
Yeah. Yeah. In 2003, their house tour was called Unleashed. So I went to that, and I've held on that since, well, let's see here. 20 years now, 21 years. Like I said, here recently, a lot of ticket stubs and programs and things like that have become more collectible because people don't have them. So I reached out to a friend of mine that is into certifying and grading these sort of things. And if I would send it to him in the condition that it's in, get it all sealed up where it's vacuum sealed, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
He said that it would probably, because of how old it is, over 20 years old, he would put a value on it of about $100 to $200.
Now, shit.
Of course, yeah. Now, if I would, because everything's still here. I mean, it's got all all three, right? All three sections.
Don't be bending it now. Don't be bending it.
But of course,
every bend costs you $5.
True. If I'd have had kept it in a little better shape, put it somewhere instead of in like my wallet where I carried it. I don't
You
know
know what
why.
I wonder? I don't know where it's at the moment, but I have it somewhere. Back with the Bash at the Beach where Hogan made his WCW debut against Flair for the title.
Yeah.
You're in Orlando. I was there 3 rows back. I still have 2 things. The ticket, which did get, I believe, torn. I don't think it's all together. But I
Right.
still have the ticket. And they gave away a special. I'll bring this up next week if I can find it. A special trading card. It was like a foil, which was Flair versus Hogan. It was like a promo card. And that's been in
That
a
they
plastic
gave out
case.
at the event.
They gave them out at the event. It's the only place you were
Ooh,
going to get it. So I from day
very
one,
nice.
that's been in a plastic case. I put that in as soon as I got home.
Oh yeah.
I'd be
Right.
curious to know what the pair of those would fetch nowadays.
Well, the best way would be to contact a company that certifies them. There's a company called CGC. They have an off brand that does collectible cards, and depending on, like you said, you've had them in plastic cases since day one. So I guarantee you they're in great condition. So depending on the rarity, you could be looking at a little bit of money for it.
I might have to dig those up and reach out to somebody.
Oh, if
All
you get them
right.
out, let me know. I've got the information I can give you to reach out to CGC.
Okay. Yeah, I might just do that
Um,
because it's sitting in a closet. I'm
yeah,
pretty sure the more I'm thinking about it, I think I know where it is, generally speaking. I just have to dig through some boxes to find out which one. But
right.
it's nearby.
Yeah. So with the back with the ticket stub here, yeah. So the way they do it is they encase them in a hard plastic, give them a grade and everything,
Yeah.
and based on that grade and the rarity and stuff like that of them is what gives you your price point value. And
Right.
like he was telling
I'm
me,
familiar a little bit with the collectibles because I used to collect just figures in general, whether it was wrestling or otherwise. And
right.
yeah, I know if you can get one of those things up in the 8s and 9s, you're looking at some money.
Yeah. And of course, anything with a signature, once it's certified as the actual signature of the person that it's supposed to be, of course, that always shoots it up in price. He said that would be, he said, if I would have had a signature of somebody back then, The Rock, John Cena, even Hardcore Holly was still there at that time, he probably would have added about $300 to $400 more on it. So depending
Wow.
on who it was that had it signed. So
Well, look at that. All right. Well, something to look forward to here. Freddie's got some cool stuff. Now, Freddie, can you get on camera with any of this stuff? Can we look at it or can you shoot a picture of it and send it to me on Twitter?
oh, I'd like to see his mug. Yes,
He's
definitely.
got a mug that sounds cool. And I want to see what belts he's got. Don't tell me. I'd like to see him. Like I said, if you can get on the camera, the link, I'll put it again just in case it was maybe too early for the stream. Sometimes things get cut off that way. So I will put the link again.
Nah, it's still at the top.
Is it still up there?
But yeah, it's still up there. But yeah, I'd say you could post it again. That shouldn't be a problem. Yep.
There it is again. So just jump on if you can. Blaze in the house. What's up? Blaze, man,
And
you going to show us your toys?
I was going to say, I know he's got some toys.
He's got all kinds of shit in that background of his.
I know.
All right. Well, I'm going to show you my latest.
Oh,
Well, I got 2 latest, but here's the first one. Yeah, I knew that glare was going to be a bitch. Funko Pop Peacemaker, aka John Cena.
nice. Yep.
So that'll go in the collection of the Funko Pops for wrestling. I don't even remember what I picked that up for. It was on Amazon. It wasn't too bad, like $6 somewhere in that ballpark.
Oh, no, that's not bad.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on just a second.
Yeah, I saw what he said.
Now it's a party.
I figure I'd spice it up a little bit here. How you guys doing?
All right, Spider-Man.
Doing good.
I tried to jump on your after Rumble podcast.
Oh.
I was there at the last damn minute. because
man.
I had some stuff to say, but I'm good. I got some gems to show off here. Old school.
Give me
Nice.
one.
So,
Give me one.
You guys remember things called wrestling magazines? They used to have those things
Of
in
course.
paper, and there's a bunch of
Oh
paper.
yeah.
So in the back of the magazine, you could order different things. And that's one of the only ways you can get wrestling memorabilia back then for most people.
Right.
Unless you went to a show and bought it, because there was no internet.
Right.
I was a
The hell
WWE.
you say?
I was a WCW, NWA type of guy. And I love Big Gold. It's styrofoam.
I know. I had the WWF version.
And plastic. I think it was like $10 or something. And
Give or take.
I'm not paying $400 for a replica, which back then you couldn't get replicas like you can today. But
Oh God, no.
this is my title belt. I've showed these off a lot of times. The AWA.
Oh, you got them. I sold mine.
I have every one. I still have every one back there under there, except for Bockwinkel.
Oh, I had him.
There's Bockwinkel and one other that I don't have, but I've been looking on eBay trying to find it.
You had Buddy Rose and Doug Summers?
No, I'm talking about
Very
just
nice.
the first year. The first year.
Oh, okay. The first year. I was
Yeah.
going to say, because those things are hard as hell to get. I had Abdullah the Butcher. I had Carlos Colon, which were pretty hard to get. I didn't know it back then. I had the Road Warriors and Paul Ellering. That's Ellering's shirt, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of people are always surprised because they ask me who my favorite of all time is. And Road Warrior Hawk is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
Oh,
I've
that's
always
cool.
loved Hawk. Definitely my tag team of my favorites, but Hawk was always, I don't know why. And I'll show you something else I got from an actual show. And of course, can't forget the legend,
I had him.
Ric Flair. So,
Yep.
and these things have stood the test
Woo!
of time. You got
They
to
really do. They hold
got-
well. Because
Yeah.
when I got them, they were getting used a little bit.
And I was also a big He-Man guy. So these are the same form factor as He-Man.
Remco.
Yeah.
So, you got these interplanetary battles between He-Man and Ric Flair and stuff like that.
Well, hell, back before wrestling had figures, you had to use the He-Man kind of stuff and pretend they were the wrestlers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was joking with my sister that sometimes that the He-Man and the GI Joes and the Transformers and the wrestling figures would sometimes get to beat up Strawberry Shortcake and some of her toys.
Strawberry shortcake.
So
getting
yes,
that
I
ass
played with
whooped.
Strawberry Shortcake toys. Okay. I was blessed to be able to go to a lot of wrestling shows when I was young, here in the Pittsburgh area, and I'm not a big T-shirt guy with wrestling, but man, this really goes back.
What do we have here?
Starcade
Starcade.
87.
But is that a T-shirt?
Yeah, I have it put onto a.
Oh, I see
platform
what you
to show
did.
it
You
off.
folded up on a
Yeah, it's
board.
a T-shirt.
Right.
So
We got
Hands of
Kevin
Stone.
Sullivan, Ronnie Garvin, Hawk, Luger, Flair, and Dusty. That's cool.
Hands of Stone, man. Hands of Stone.
Yeah, Ronnie
I re-
Garvin.
I was just talking about him back in the day. There was a time where a world title changed at a house show.
Yeah,
And
they
it was-
had to because they didn't have all that much TV.
Yeah, and it was Garvin taking out Flair. I remember them showing the highlight
Yes.
like a week later.
He
You know,
came
and-
off the top rope with a sunset flip.
And you didn't find out until the next wrestling magazine came out what happened. Another one. Old school War Games T-shirt. Nikita Koloff was one of my favorites too.
Oh, I'm liking this.
Really loved Nikita.
What is that? Tully on the? Well, no, it's
Yeah.
Arn and Tully there. Who's the other dude on the side of Ric Flair?
Luger
Oh, it is Luger.
doesn't look
Okay,
like a
his
great
looks a little
version
wonky
of
in that one.
You can't mess up the Road Warriors though. They
No,
look
I mean
amazing
Road
on
Warriors
there.
are automatically
Good old
distinguishable.
Dusty. So I don't wear these shirts are like size medium, so I can't wear them anymore. So I use them to display them.
I don't know if I could ever wear
Right.
a medium.
You were
I
showing
think once
off.
I got past 15, mediums were out of the question.
Now this is actual picture that I took from ringside. I was in the second row it was the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh back in the day. They called it the Igloo because the Penguins played there, and
Yes,
it looked
I
like
remember
an
the igloo. Yes.
July 10th, 1987, the Great American Bash. And the world champion, Ric Flair. Try not to get the glare here. But that's an
I got
actual picture that I took that I had it blown up.
I hear you, man. I
of
got
how
one
clo-
too.
How close I was to Flair. And then, of course, and this one's pretty interesting because if you look at the top of the picture, what you see is a scaffold.
Scaffold. Holy shit.
And I believe it was Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express, the scaffold match
probably.
that I got to see. And to get a close up of Hawk like that right there, it might have been Road Warriors and Midnight Express in the scaffold, though. I'm not sure.
But just having a picture of Hawk with the scaffold in the background, that's pretty special.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the first few scaffold matches I always loved because they literally would fall off the scaffold. And later on, it was always hanging from the scaffold. A little safer.
Tell it to Cornette, though.
True. True.
All right. So, I'm going to show you guys something. And
that's all I got for now.
One of you guys is going to probably, or somebody out there in the chat's going to know. I can't remember the name of this line. Okay. But one of you probably will. And it might pop into my head all of a sudden. It does that sometimes. But here we go. These guys are probably they're actually in the shelf right behind me. I would say they're about 7-8 inches tall, maybe closer to 9. Andre's a little bigger.
Those little tiny ones, are those thumb wrestlers? Or no?
No, dude. These are
little like, tiny ones. Do you remember the thumb ones?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Iron Sheik, Hulk Hogan, JYD, Piper.
I got a couple of thumbs somewhere.
These guys are huge. These guys are, man, I'd say those good 8.5 inches, 9 inches tall.
I don't remember those.
I don't either.
Somebody's got to remember the line.
They look amazing, though. Look at that Andre.
Yeah.
Even the definition on Stuka.
Yep. And there were a couple more. There was, I believe, an Albano and a Fred Blassie and maybe one other, maybe Arnold Skolin or something like that. I can't remember. But Albano and Blassie I never bothered getting, but I do remember them. And I almost didn't get like Undertaker, for example, because it didn't really look like Undertaker. It was like a cartoon version of him. But that's, at the end of the day, that's what I like about the art style on these guys.
Yeah.
Is it's way over the top.
Yep.
I
didn't think Andre ever had that much. Andre never had that much definition, but it still looks good.
Oh, yeah. No, he never came close to this like that in his best days.
Yeah, the Undertaker makes me think of how he looks in the old Undertaker comics that they put out.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that Undertaker looks like.
I keep getting stuck on like Ruthless Aggression, but that's not the name of the line.
Those are really awesome.
There might have even been a Kane with this. I'm not sure if Kane was a feature in this lineup or not. Walter Johnson's in the house. Welcome aboard, buddy.
They remind me of the McFarlane type.
Yeah.
They used to have sports like basketball, baseball. McFarlane would have a lot of detail in theirs too.
Actually, you know what?
Watched
I think you're
documentary
right.
I literally just watched a documentary on McFarlane an hour and a half ago. And what got my attention was, from the title was something along the lines of From Top of the World to Nothing. And I'm like, nothing. And I'm like, I haven't heard about McFarlane lately. And basically it goes through the whole history of how he was a comic book artist and he was working with Marvel and they kept on stifling him. But then he did his own Spider-Man thing and it started selling. Spider-Man went from 21 most sold comic book at the time to number 2, number 1. And then they finally just acquiesced and said, all right, do it your way, because his style was so big. And then he finally started his own company, and that's where Spawn and a bunch of other stuff came out. And then from there, he just started getting into the sports figures. Well, first he did the horror movie figures because nobody else was touching that. Then he went into the sports stuff. And then apparently, if you're anyone a Spawn fan, did you guys follow Spawn magazine?
Oh, yeah, I have all kinds of Spawn comic books over here.
So you remember back in like issue 13, they introduced Angela?
Yes.
The angel chick, the real hot one. That was not his. That was his co-creator. And they had a parting of ways at some point in time.
Yeah.
Well, now the co-creator starts seeing all these action figures on the shelf and stuff like that. And he's like, hey, where's mine? Where's my money?
Right.
And he was dropping him like a check for 40 grand here and there. And then he ended up buying the home run baseball that, what the heck was the big record not that long? Well, not that long ago, probably about 10, 15 years ago now. What home run record was broke? Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. I think he's got the Mark McGwire home run ball for like $3 million. Right. And when this guy is like, wait a minute, you give me $40,000 checks and you got $3 million for a baseball? And he sued him and basically won like $25 million.
Yeah, because that was basically at the point that Image kind of folded and sold themselves back to DC. So, and
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, I think Jason Lee was the one who created Angela. So, because I remember them, they're the two that really had the falling out because they were the two that talked everybody else to leave Marvel and start Image. So, without them both being cohesive, everybody was like, "Well, fuck this," So,
yeah.
what can I say? I'm a geek. I know this shit. I'm sorry.
No, I only know because I watched the video a few minutes ago.
Geek and dork is cool. I just don't want to be called a nerd. Geek and dork is cool. I just don't want to be nerd. Geek. Oh, that was my cat trying to get in. Now my cat's attacking my toys back there. Get out of there.
By the way, I guess it's over your left shoulder, the Blaze Radio Network. What is that? Is it a cardboard sign or what is it?
Flag from my TeePublic store. I have a TeePublic store where you can order all kinds of stuff, whether it's a notebook, a T-shirt, a sweatshirt, a hat, a hood, a mask, and they have banners, flags. So I could get that huge.
How big a banner is it?
That's it. You're looking at it.
No, but I'm just like dimension-wise. How big is it?
2 by 3, 2 foot by 3 foot. I think
size.
Not bad. They have smaller ones, little flags, big, and they have real big banners you can put on the wall too. So I figured it'd be nice to kind of have my.
No, I like that. Good branding. Good branding.
Now, I know it's a collectible show, but did you hear the Punk news today?
Yes, no. I just saw that right before we came on.
4 to 6 months. Torn tricep. 4 to 6 months. Oh. I know he's your boy. It could be earlier. You know how medicine is nowadays, but torn tricep, he's done. He's out of mania.
I knew he hurt himself when he went over the rope. When Cody threw him over, he hit the apron with his arm, and I was like, oh, that. Yeah.
Oh, that's probably why he sat there with that look on his face. I thought he was selling the moment.
Now, although he's one of the ones I wouldn't mind win the Rumble, I'm glad he didn't.
Right.
Or they might have had to call an audible if he thought it was really hurt. But yeah, torn tricep.
Well,
someone has like a timeline of his return, and it's just sad to see like how many injuries, suspension, injury. This, feel bad for the guy.
Damn it! There goes the perfect mania.
Yeah, it was going to be big. Now you take whether you like him or not, you take Brock and Punk out. That's big name recognition gone from Mania.
Of course.
And this could have been one of the biggest main. It's still, I mean, Triple H's still set on making it big, but
he'll make it work. He's got that's a glorious thing about having the talent roster he does.
Well,
you'll find a way to.
That's what I wanted to talk about for the Rumble. I was like, I always look forward to a couple of legends, but even Triple H said in the scrum afterwards, our roster's too stacked for that. And I agree. I agree right now. I agree.
Yeah.
And if you're going to bring in TNA champions, I take that over a legend.
Yes, because that's a nice surprise. That's something. And although he made fun of the Forbidden Door after in the scrum too,
I loved it.
He said silly and stupid to call it whatever the door you're walking through. I was like, oh, okay,
right.
But it's. I think I don't know. It's like who Gunther now will fight probably Braun. Because Braun took the spot of Brock.
Right.
And it may not be most people's taste, but I love the fact that they made no changes to the Rumble. In other words, okay, now playing the role of Brock Lesnar is Braun Breaker.
The only thing that might be different is when he speared Ivar. That might have just been Brock catching and slamming Ivar or something. But then you turn it into a spear because it's Braun, obviously. But he eliminated the people that he was supposed to eliminate. Dom was supposed to eliminate Brock, setting up Brock versus Dom for Chamber, which now probably Dom versus Braun for Chamber.
Why would anyone want to see?
It'll be a schmoz with all the Judgment Day trying to help and Braun trying to overcome the entire Judgment Day. And same thing with Brock. So
I just thought it would have been kind of like Maven taking out the Undertaker.
Yeah, exactly. But having such a stacked roster, I mean, I really enjoy. There's a lot of people shitting on the Rumbles, but I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. And I'm one of the first to knock WWE because I don't like having to see a million replays and being told and insulting my intelligence as a fan. But they didn't. They did a great job at the Rumble this year. I'm really pleased with it.
I was happy with 90% of it. I thought the men's Rumble was kind of boring. There was no surprise factor. Zero. None.
Yeah, there was no big thing. Like I didn't think Okada or Sasha was going to come out there. I listened to a lot of Fightful because a lot of their stuff actually happens and normally isn't, clickbait and shit. And they literally said a million times, you're not going to see either one of them there. If they do, it's a miracle and it's a great swerve. But from what everyone was saying, you're not going to see Sasha or Okada. I don't really want Okada to go there though, because look what they've done to Shinsuke.
What have they done? They've given him some good stuff.
Yeah, overall, I mean, I think Shinsuke was, when he came in, was one of the best wrestlers in the world, and he still is. But he falls. He falls short. I don't know if they would do Okada justice.
I was just going to say though, but Blaze, Shinsuke came in what year?
Oh, I don't remember.
How many years he been in WWE roughly?
No clue. I don't have a good.
At least 7.
Yeah.
Who was in charge?
I'll say 7 to 10. Yeah.
Sure, I know.
Okay,
there's a big difference of and
It's a new day with a guy who knows that there's actually wrestling in other places. That's why you have the TNA Knockouts champion in the Rumble.
That. And that was one of my big downfalls that I hated about WWE is they never did reach out like the old school days where you would see someone come in and go. And it doesn't hurt the product. It doesn't. It helps, I think, because it shows they're willing to go out there. And I think, hey, when Jordan Grace's contract's up, I think she's going to be WWE bound. She was First thing I
said to Jay, I was typing him live as it was happening, as she just left her resume on the door.
She's a star, man. And I always knew she was really good, but.
And not only that, but not to bury the headline, she got a pop.
Yeah,
people, for everyone watching, no one's watching. Yeah, Jim Cornette over there. Nobody's watching TNA. More people are probably watching TNA today than are watching AEW. Well, she got a pop.
Right. Whoever is in charge of the social media for TNA right now, good for you, because they put out highlights of Jordan.
Oh, yeah, they did.
They put out all these things of Jordan Grace to see, like, people are going to be Googling her name that night. TNA's, whoever they got helping out that part is doing a phenomenal job right now.
Well, they're using Sam from MLW, that real hot chick that was on MLW and then left. So I know she's doing a lot of their social media right now.
Chuck, R-Truth, gold. He's gold. I love him. Don't ever change it. I hear people out there saying he's too comedic. Change him. I'm like, what are you talking about?
No, that's exactly him. What he's there for.
That's him. And a lot of people don't realize he was one of the first TNA champion back in the day.
The reason the women's Rumble was so much better than the men's, and I mean, it's like night and day better. I would give theirs a 10. I would give the men's a 7. And
I'm with you. I agree with Vince McMahon.
I know lately we've been on the same page.
I like both. But I do think the women's was better. The thing that the way they're handling Jade was well. Because they're not going to throw her out, no singles match. God, I think she's going to end up being in a tag team with Bianca to go against Kabuki Warriors. I think that would be great. I think her first 2 matches might be a Rumble and a Chamber. Which is smart if you think about it. Because even Shawn Michaels has come out and said she's not really where we want her to be. But man, she got a great pop. She's that's
the thing. Right, that's the thing, Blaze. When you have somebody like that, and you put them in a multi-person match, you can hide the flaws and imperfections a little bit better till she gets to that point.
There was some great standoffs and face-offs in both Rumbles.
Oh my God. Ivy Niles and Jordan Grace. Ivy and Jordan, where they had the dueling suplexes.
Yeah.
And then they went at each other. And I'm like, this is got. I guarantee you this. Ivy Niles will show up in TNA as part of a talent exchange.
Well, did you see there was a post from it might have been Jordan. Oh, yeah, it was Jordan Grace. I think she said, "This is not the last you'll see of this TNA over there." And I dig that. I dig that. A loose relationship. It doesn't have to be like they don't have to have a pay-per-view together, nothing, which I would love, but just to bring like this. Can you imagine Josh Alexander showing up there?
That or Moose.
I was thinking about Moose for the Rumble, and I was like, but you're right.
The men's Rumble honestly should have gone first. Because there's no way they could match up. You've got all of the drama, all of the surprises, the quality that was the women's Rumble, and you already know we're not matching that because it's just everyone from our and number 30, Sami Zayn.
In hindsight, I agree. But I was thinking, I think they put the men on at the end to try to think, is The Rock going to show up? Because they were teasing something huge at the end, Which
is all fine. But I was waiting. It was somebody better than Sami Zayn.
Yeah, a little anticlimactic. I feel bad for Sammy because I love Sammy, but
at number 16, I would have loved him too.
I was there in Pittsburgh when everybody wanted Daniel Bryan.
Yep.
And people booed Rey Mysterio.
That's sad. But again, if you're going to not have that person there that most people are expecting, make sure number 30, somebody's going to make them say, all right.
But I think the endings to both were good. I don't have any complaints. I think the shot of those 4 girls at ringside after they lost, I think those are 4 of your chamber people.
Yeah.
and throw in maybe a Natalia because she's so seasoned, and maybe one other, maybe Naya.
And then
to
not
make it
only that, but
interesting.
just the women's final moments where the three of them are battling on the apron, where you only have like 2 feet to
Right.
work. And that lasted a good minute and a half of near misses. Talk about, wrestling with a broomstick, getting the broomstick over. When you can wrestle in 2 feet for 3 minutes with 3 of you, or for 2 minutes with 3 of you, you're doing something right.
I never knew
Not
that Bailey
I
never
was
had a
gonna say-
singles fight in Mania.
No,
Someone said that. Or I don't know. Am I wrong
No,
or
she
not?
did.
I heard that.
No,
I heard
she
that
did,
before.
because
Someone
I
said
saw her in Orlando when she won the title.
She had a singles match
Oh.
at WrestleMania.
Yeah, she won the women's championship.
Okay. Because someone said that, and I was like, that doesn't sound completely right. She had to have had a singles
That was the
match at
year
Mania.
that the Hardys came back.
Okay. Because someone said that.
Oh, yeah.
I know she never won a Rumble because now all 4 horsewomen have won Rumbles.
No,
Right.
she never won a Rumble. That's true.
And that's
Chuck's
just setting
asking
up
if
the
we
whole...
think that the WWE is going to die because of Vince. I'll just start out by saying not a chance in hell.
No. And
No.
the thing with the Rumbles that I love is you enhance so many stories. Even look at Ekar and Razor and Akam that came down and they enhanced that feud with the Prophets and Bobby. That's what I love about the Rumble. It's not always all about just the winner. I mean, that's the coup to the end of all, but you got all these little feuds starting in between. I loved it. I loved it. I didn't mind the knuckle spot with KO and Logan because it's setting up a rematch.
Not only that, but
I know
man,
it does,
that
but
was
I
the
hated
best.
that ending.
That was
When
the
does the
best
ref see that shit?
ending. Because
Right.
everyone was counting with the ref. It's 1, it's
too.
2, and then his eyes just bug out like, what is that?
It was good. It was good stuff.
It
I was
was
pleased.
really good. All right, Freddie says that it was a fatal 4-way for the women's title that Bailey won at Mania.
Never had a one-on-one.
Okay, I'll stand corrected because now that you mention it, you're right. I think it was so. Good
She
call,
deserves
Freddie.
it. I've never been a huge Bailey fan, but I love her
Oh, I
work
have.
ethic. I know she's amazing. She just never does anything for me. But I know she's great. I'm not going to knock her ability or nothing, and she deserves it. She definitely well-deserved win for her.
Yeah. I was a huge fan back with NXT. I was a little disappointed when she, got rid of the ponytail and went the way of the heel. And I was like, this is
We
like
might
girl
see
on
the
floor
hugger
stuff.
again. We might see the hugger again. Maybe not
Oh,
that
yeah, that's
full.
coming.
Maybe not that full with the ponytails and stuff, but
Probably not.
What a pop she got.
Yep.
And she's a heel, technically. And she said in the scrum afterwards, too, she's like, I've just been being me.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So I have
I
respect
agree.
for her. She's just not one of my favorites. That's all. But yeah, great show. Great show.
All
And everyone's
right,
saying,
let's
where's
see,
the
what
other
else?
matches? What other match? They didn't need any other matches.
Actually, I
No,
would
it
have
was
not
just
minded
4.
them canceling the men's championship match because we already knew who was going to win and there was never any doubt.
Yeah,
so.
I was just wondering how it was going to end. I knew who was going to win, but I was just wondering what were they going to tease at the end, And everyone's thinking about The Rock. I think we got to wait till next year for The Rock.
No, you still got no. They need him more now than ever.
I mean,
If
for The
CM
Rock
Punk
Roman,
is out.
For Rock Roman, I mean, we're gonna have to wait till next year.
No, night 1, Cody takes the title. Night 2, and here's what's going to happen.
I wouldn't be against it, but
No, Cody takes
don't
the
think they're
title
gonna-
because here comes Solo to do his thing, and all of a sudden The Rock comes out, lays out Solo. Roman looks at him like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then Cody takes advantage. Cody Cutter, we have a new champion. Next night, it ain't even about head of the table, motherfucker. You cost me my championship.
See, I don't know if Cody's story needs shenanigans
does.
at the end of the match, though. I would rather see a clean win, but when has Roman had anybody clean?
Right.
So I wouldn't be
gives a shit
surprised.
how he wins.
Yeah,
Nobody
exactly.
cares how he wins.
No. If he wins,
Just get the fucking belt off of him. And again, another reason it has to happen. You got Seth injured, unless you're going to drop the title off to somebody quickly. Now CM Punk is out. That hurt.
Who do you put against Seth now? Who would you? I think back to the pandemic, and I think Drew did so much for that company during the pandemic, and he never got a title run in
I've
front of
said
people.
it forever.
I would not be mad if it's Drew Seth and Drew wins it.
Yeah,
I do
I would
that.
happily see that happen because I was so pissed that he didn't get one match with a crowd.
And I'm a big AJ guy, but I think we're getting AJ LA Knight.
And by the way, AJ's big too. Have you seen him?
He's humongous. I love
Yeah.
it. He's one of my
God
all-time
damn, while he
favorites.
was gone, he must have found a couple of extra gyms somewhere tucked away.
Yeah, him. Orton's always been big too, but Orton looked bigger too when he came back. Him and
No,
AJ.
I've never
just
seen
look
AJ look like this though.
AJ's
He looked like he
never
was
looked
cut out
that
of a
big.
comic book.
He's all up here. It's all up here now too, and it's like
I mean,
looks
he
great.
is ripped.
And I like the fact he didn't come back as a big baby face. He's more of a tweener. He's wearing the black jeans and stuff like that.
Right.
Just being a badass.
Which is what he was doing at the end of his TNA run.
I was just going to say that when he was evil in TNA, I loved him then too. So I got no complaints about
and not for nothing. I kept wanting him to, like, when's his contract running out? Because I wanted him to kind of do the EY thing and finish his career at Impact or TNA. But now, if we're going to share, he doesn't have to.
I thought we were going to get, because they were talking about Kofi being in so many Rumbles, and the only person that has more is Kane. I thought Kane was coming out.
Right.
Just for, just for nostalgia or someone, if you're going to have one legend, because they kept talking about that, that would have been great. But yeah, one legend each would have been okay. I mean, as much as I'm a huge Pat McAfee fan, that didn't need to happen. They could have had, I watch him every day. I love everything he does. He's a Pittsburgh boy. But it was funny. If you wanted comedic part,
we already have Kofi for that. Or not Kofi, but R-Truth.
The truth tag. Oh my goodness. Tag me into the Rumble.
My ass off. Tag me in. Tag me in.
We have to protect R-Truth with everything we have, man. That guy, he needs to come out for the Hall of Fame and pretend like he's getting inducted or something. It's just crazy shit forever. I love him.
Do we put the belt on him?
I wouldn't mind him having a belt. I mean, it'd be funny. And I know a lot of people hated that belt, but he comes back with the 24/7 title.
Oh God!
Look what I found. And people like that. He pull it out of the garbage can or something. Be like, look what I found. But he's go. He can't mess up. He can't mess up right now. I love it.
Chuck's not happy with Bailey winning. Would have liked to see fresh newcomer win.
If Jade was ready, taking her straight to the top. If she was ready, wouldn't have been bad. But she's
right. She's not ready yet.
She'll win next year probably. Because I remember,
and I'll tell you right now, I'm predicting Gunther for next year's Rumble winner.
Yeah, who was it? Like Paige that came and won the title her first match or something, or that's
no, it wasn't about the Rumble. I don't know. She came out on Monday Night Raw.
The title. She won the title.
Yeah, against AJ Lee.
Yeah. AJ Lee, I thought was going to be 30 too.
Yeah, another surprise that she didn't show up.
I really thought since Punk was there, she had to be in that Rumble, but
thought for sure.
Yeah, but that falls back into the legend thing. So.
Yeah, but it's a legend we haven't seen. Like, we've seen Trish, we've seen Lita.
Right.
And those are the two I kept hearing are coming back this year again. I'm like, I love them, but no.
Enough is enough.
Surprise me. You know what else I didn't like? And I saw someone post about this, and I want to make a note of it because I got to talk about it Thursday on my podcast. The entrances. And when I was at the Royal Rumble, the entrances are one of the biggest things. Hardly anybody, I don't want to be extreme, has that music that first note or name hits. You had to wait for names for people to come out. Yeah. Even El Idolo, which was the best one probably, because I'm like, Andrade. Listen to a lot of people's entrance music now. It's not as poppy as it used to be, where you didn't need a name coming out. You knew when the glass broke who's coming out.
Exactly.
So whoever's doing the music needs to step it up, I think, just for, because the Rumble. Plus, I think if they would have had a big Tron, maybe because a lot of the reactions were delayed.
Yeah, well, like with the Usos.
Yeah. It's like, whose music is this? Oh, yeah.
When Jimmy came out, it was like, if you didn't see the board, you wouldn't have known it was him. It's like the music isn't there anymore.
No, they need that initial pop. It's a sound effect. It's a voice, something like Booker. Yep. When Booker, or, when he came out a couple of years ago or whatever, when he came out, you ain't going to miss that. We're rock. When you hear the first, all you have to hear is if ya, and you know who's coming out. So
when he showed up on TV a couple weeks ago, man, blew the roof off the place.
Yeah. But I feel bad for Punk. I really do. I mean,
I didn't even hear that until just now.
It's all over. Crushed. I mean, I saw it this morning. I saw a thing about injury, and then next thing you know, timeline blew up with Punk this and that. And then, of course, the assholes out there being happy about it. That's fucking moronic. Being happy about someone getting injured, because there's a lot of people that hate him, and it's okay to hate your wrestlers, but to wish injury and losing jobs and shit, that's not what I'm about.
Right.
I like this suspend my disbelief, man. I mean, I know it's staged and stuff, but I want to be surprised. I unfollowed tons of wrestling news this past week because I don't want to be spoiled. I didn't look at social the whole day because I didn't want to be spoiled. And the Jordan Grace was spoiled from a couple people. And I was like, I'm glad I didn't look at social media during the day.
Well, I'd heard the rumblings that there was, that there was going to be an Impact presence.
TNA presence, yeah. I heard
and I'm like,
it intrigued me, though.
It did, but I thought maybe they were referring to Trinity because that's where she's coming from.
I was thinking Heath Slater, and you got Jinder and
Oh, there you
Drew in
go.
there, and you have a 3MB reunion in a Rumble. Maybe
How fun
they're
would
even
that
the
have been?
first three. How about even
How
the first
fun
three?
would that have been?
But
All right,
you
Jay,
know,
what else you got there to show us on Collector's Corner?
All right, going back to the fact that I'm a big geek, I've played RPGs, role-playing games since I was 10. So when this came out in 2003, I had to get it, and it's the Know Your Role WWE role-playing game.
Oh, I thought it was an album.
Role-playing games. Is that something you do like with
now.
a significant other in the bedroom? Or
You put on a bunny suit when you play?
No. Dungeons and Dragons, only with a wrestling kick to it.
I've never seen that. That's very cool.
Tell me again, what is it?
Is it a board game?
So it's dungeon. No, it's
Jay
you
Brock
create
is
your
a
own
robot.
character.
Oh, Jay, you're
Create your
roboting
own
on us.
character. Oh. How about now?
Your internet
That's
is
very
failing us.
interesting.
No disassemble.
Now?
Johnny 5.
You sound like the guy in the wheelchair.
Oh, damn, Vince. Damn.
Stephen Hawking.
Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, my goodness.
No, what it is.
You're
is
lagging
you
up a
create
little bit, though.
character.
Okay, good. We can hear you,
Yeah, we can hear you.
sort of. You might have to pop out and pop back in.
Oh.
There you go. I knew that. Hey,
All
real
right,
quick,
while we're
one
waiting
thing-
for Jay to return to us, come back, Jay. Come back.
Hey, I was going to
Shame.
say one thing about the TNA thing that surprised me. The little
What's that?
is that you got TNA guys coming over, but then there's Nick Nemeth and Ali who just got fired that are on that roster. So that was a little,
God, yeah.
you know what I mean? So
Meeting Nick Nemeth a couple weeks ago was like a big blast for me. I enjoyed that so much. He's such a cool dude.
I'm loving what he's doing, and I'm loving what
Yeah.
Ali's doing. I just saw Ali's schedule for the next 2 months. He's everywhere, and I love it.
Yep.
Promo was great too. Same with Dolph's promo with the Wanted Man.
Yep.
Got to stop calling.
All right. I don't know if you happen to catch episode 1 of this Collector's Corner where I finally got my first championship belt ever, not counting the styrofoam one, which I also had. Okay, but I finally got a belt, and it was, you can maybe see it in the back over here, the AWA championship, back the kind that Nick Bockwinkel and Rick Martel held. And I said, there's one other one I'm going to get, and it's because I thought about it, and I was like, as a wrestling fan, you have to have this one. What belt do you think it would be?
The Winged Eagle.
Anybody else in the chat? Anyone want to take a guess?
I'd say the Winged Eagle. Or Big Gold is always my favorite. Little Gold, I guess.
And here's the thing. Big
Little
Gold
Gold.
was always my favorite, too. And I kept
Love it.
saying, the day I'm going to get a belt, it's going to be that one.
Yeah.
I says, there really is no other one, right? Freddie's also saying Big Gold.
Hey, Wrestling
And
Mama.
you're not that far away. It's the
Intercontinental.
10 pounds of
Oh, yeah. Didn't they call it? Didn't they call it Charlotte?
gold. 10 pounds of gold. Let me see if I can get this thing. to
Yeah, love
cooperate.
that. Wow. See, I never wanted to shell out the like $400 or $500 of some of those ones that they have out there, but
Are you wearing a seatbelt?
not right now.
Well, put one on because it isn't costing you $300 and $400. The reason I bought 2 of them is it's $125.
Ooh. See, I
got your attention now.
that's not bad. That's not bad. The weather's got
Jay's having weather
Yeah.
issues. Well, you could be in Florida, buddy, and it's been quite sketchy around here for a while. Try and jump back in if you can.
The only other baby toy one I have, you can see the AEW one there, which is a $15, $20 Walmart toy plastic one too. I saw it when I was buying Christmas presents for my niece, and I was like, yeah, it's for me.
Is he back or isn't he back? He's kind of back. A
Kinda.
little bit back.
Robot. Jay Robot is back.
He still sounds like Stephen Hawking.
Jay Robot, your beard looks humongous.
Keep working on it, Jay. It ain't there yet.
It's like 3 months. I'm
It ain't
jealous.
there yet.
You're getting there, Jay.
So if you look back at episode 1 of this you'll see the link down below to the guy on eBay that sells these things. Now, I'm going to give a fair review like I did on the AWA belt. Again, there are 2mm plates. I am sure, I don't know the dimensions of the actual 10 pounds of gold that, even up to now that East E3 is holding. Might be 4mm. I'm not sure what the thickness is. But if you're just looking to have something that you can display that looks legit, it's real leather. It's what the heck is this? Nickel plate, I believe. I believe it's nickel that they're using.
Looks really good, though.
Oh, it looks freaking amazing. So, and there's no way you'll be able to see the imperfections that I would describe on this particular title. So you can see that the NWA isn't quite centered properly. It should have been a little bit more.
Yep. Tiny. Yeah, it's very, very minute, but yeah, I see it.
It is minute. Not enough for me to care. And then right about here by the A, and you'll never see it on camera. I guess to get the dome, they have to bang it out somehow.
Bang it out, yeah.
And there are like 5 little divots where like the tip of whatever they're banging it out with, left a protrusion of sort. And they're right in this one little area. But I mean, you got to get this close to see it.
I think it looks phenomenal.
Oh, I'm loving it.
I'm mad at myself that I didn't guess that belt.
But honestly, Big Gold would have been my guess.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying to get. And I'm looking at, all right, which other ones do I want to get? Because the price is right. Now, with the AWA title, as I put them up in the shelves in the bedroom, I'm trying to figure out where these things are going to live because I have no room in here.
Yeah.
I had to clear a bunch of Walking Dead stuff out of there just to put that one up. So I'm deciding, like, where do I got nowhere to hang it on the wall. I've got art on the walls everywhere. There's no room. So I'm still not sure about that. And then I'm thinking, what other titles are out there? And Big Gold was the first one in my mind, but it wasn't resonating with me. And then I was thinking the 10 pounds of gold, man, you're talking about Harley Race, Terry Funk, Ric Flair. The gang's all here when you get that belt.
Jay can't make it back. He's not getting better.
Yeah, better finish your story against Blake.
Finish the story.
We're going to finish the story.
Part of me is getting kind of sick of hearing that. I mean, I get it because wrestling is a lot about story, but I also know that you can tell a story just by the match, working on a certain part of their arm or, that type of story, So, I mean, it's just, I get it, but now it's like everything is story. I like stories in my wrestling, but
they started using it specifically for Cody.
Yeah.
Now everybody's
exactly.
Well, this is my story. I got an EST story. Everybody got. It's
even
like everybody shut up.
I know it's a touchy subject, but even the 2K24 promo, the commercial.
Hogan's that's what I'm talking about.
My story started back in the day, brother. And I'm like, now fucking story everywhere.
That's what I'm saying. It's like now everyone and their mother's jumping on it. It was okay when it was Cody.
Yeah. It's a little much. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I'm not saying I don't want story in my wrestling. Trust me. I've dealt with the people that have been bouncing back and forth saying that we need more stories in wrestling, but
it's like all these morons on Instagram and stuff like that, these social misfits that turn around and say, well, this is my truth. I said, there is no your truth. There is truth. Period.
Well, the whole story, and this might be an age thing. And I've heard some streamers, some people on social media.
You saying I'm fat?
No, age, our age, our oldness. Yeah. Because there's a large segment of people, and I always try to think outside the box because there's casual fans that don't use social media. There's people that, watch it forever, just watch one thing. But to me, if Cody won the title last year, there's not much of a story to that. He did finish his story with Dusty, but the trials and tribulations that he's gone through, having to face Brock for a while and the injuries and with Seth and all. And then if he would have won it last year, I don't know. I just think these younger people, is my take. I could be wrong for a lot of people. They want that instant gratification. They wanted Cody to win the first shot. But in hindsight, to me, if he wins it this year, it's going to be so much better because they're going to make it look like Cody's not going to win. Cody's going to be down and he's going to be beat the fucking hell in this match, and he's going to find a way to win. And that's old school to me. And when they have this match this year, they have all this footage from the past year and a half to show how it got to this point. How Cody didn't give up after losing.
You know what that last year and a half of footage is? Hard times, baby.
It's this whole hard times.
Hard times.
And I started to put it together because I'm like, the people that are complaining about this, they're all in their 20s. From what I've seen. From me. Oh, Jesus. But I just take it for what it is. I think it's going to be amazing. And people are saying, "Oh, it's so anticlimactic because now we know how Mania is going to end." No, you don't. Because there's still
you
in the
do
back
and you
of
don't.
at the
But
back
you know
of my
what?
mind.
It didn't stop you from watching the Rumble.
Exactly. In the back of my mind, and I think Cody should definitely finish the story at Mania. In the
Has
back
to.
of my mind
Has to.
is that damn Hogan reign couple months away.
No.
And I don't want it to happen. We've already
No.
discussed this. I agree with you. I want Cody to finish his story this time
I'm still
around.
pissed about Demolition. I'm still pissed about Honky. Enough is enough.
Yeah.
And here's my biggest knock on that shit. You're not eclipsing anyone's reign when you don't fucking wrestle.
Well, the other thing, it's a big problem with me. And if it happens, I would love to see them unify these two world titles. Because to me, there's only one penultimate champion. There should only be one. I don't care how big your company is. There should be a pyramid to the very tippity top, and there's only one person that could be at the top. That's why it was so great back in the day, because each company had one. Having these two dilutes the product for me.
Yeah,
I get why. I love Seth as a champ, but it dilutes it a little bit. It's the consolation prize. It's like
it is, and no matter how much he's defended that title and he's been a fighting champion, call it what you will, it doesn't work because it's not the lineage title. And like I've told everyone, there is only one. Look, it's wrestling. But if you're going to be real and treat it like a sport for a minute, there's only one world championship, and it's the WWE's, because the NWA was bought out by WCW. So the big gold became the championship. Flair never lost it, brought it with him to the WWE, won the Rumble, so merged it essentially with the WWE's belt until he lost that title. And that's it. The WWE belt had then become the championship. WCW had to create one. Hell, they didn't even have a created one for the Luger-Barry Windham cage match. They got some piece of shit out of the back that they threw out there for that match.
Speaking of Luger and Brett, did you catch the mistake by Michael Cole on commentary in the Rumble? We've never had a double champion at the Rumble.
What do you mean by double champion?
A tie.
Oh.
He said it on commentary. There's actually memes of it now and stuff.
Michael Cole, when is he not fucking up?
But there's normally someone in his ear to be like, dude, you got to correct that. Luger,
yeah, you know who that someone was?
Well, someone new.
Yeah, but there ain't nobody to do it. What the hell are you talking about? I blew 2 quads out.
Yeah, Luger, Brett. Fuck them, I guess. I was
disappointed
I forgot about
in them. I'm thinking about, what was it, Batista and Cena?
That was the overtime one, yeah.
Well, because they both went out together.
Yeah. And that's what he said. Michael Cole says, we've never had tie or a dual champs, but we did have an overtime once. And I was like, you did have a tie. It's on Wikipedia. It's all over your history. So I was a little disappointed in that, but
never let the facts get in the way of Michael Cole's commentary.
But you're right, though. Once, even the first time that VKM was ousted, I could tell in Michael Cole's commentary that he was more relaxed. He was saying what he wanted to more than he was being told to say.
Yeah. The word is that the feeling backstage is like a huge relief. I think the only person who might not be feeling a huge relief right now is Triple H, only because he's the son-in-law, and will he be part of the casualties? Which, God knows, that would be a huge mistake.
It's very interesting to hear Cody's interview after that show, because I never thought that, number one, he did mention AEW, which is fine. You know, I'm a fan of AEW, but right now, after that Rumble is phenomenal. I love both right now phenomenally. And WWE got my attention right now. But Cody to say about the back, about the wrestlers, how much fun it is, how much it's a family atmosphere, more here than he's ever seen. I was like, wow, that speaks volumes to me. But because if you go back to the beginning of AEW, that was their thing. Oh, it's a family atmosphere. Come over here. We love each other. It's so much fun in the back and everything.
Well,
and
there was little engines that could.
Yeah, and now Cody's saying that. Wow, did that open? You know, it's like, wow, for him to say. But did you catch Cody's little sign when he won? He did this twice.
Yes, and then did the
bang
bang
for Omega. Love it. They're still best friends. To show that he still loves those guys means a lot to me too, because the tribalism doesn't need to be there as much as it is right now. It's so great.
I actually liked Bailey's post scrum where she was, they said to her, asked her the questions, like you said, you have always dreamt of being in that moment, pointing to the sign. Was it everything you thought it would be? She says, honestly, I was just shocked because I expected the sign to light up and stuff. And then the whole friggin' arena is like, is that just for me? Because I was doing I'm like, all right, let's go easy on it now, sweetheart. But I don't know.
I kept thinking, what if Punk wins? We're going to get him in a press conference. Will he have pastries?
And which brand will he be promoting?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
they're not in Chicago.
Maybe he'll have a handful of Slim Jims.
You know what? He would too.
Yeah.
Gosh damn it, man. I didn't even hear that news. It's
very disheartening.
Bad.
I mean, I'm going to be critical that he did look a little gassed towards the end, but you're supposed to in a Rumble. A lot of people are knocking him for that. You got to be able to sit in the corner and not, you got to wait for your spot in the Rumbles and stuff. You're not always acting in the Rumble. And a lot of people calling him out on it. I'm like, come on, guys.
No.
Give him. I mean, he looked good to me.
Sure. There was a video that that WWE put out with him training in the performance center with Lexus King and
I saw
two of the other guys
running the ropes,
doing the ropes, doing the 5-5s and all that shit. And he's doing like a little commentary after they're taking their break, and he's huffing and puffing a little bit, but ain't bad.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in his 40s.
I've never done it, so I can't knock it. You know what I'm saying? I think, the thing with Vince, which turned into the Brock, which turned into Braun being there, really open, because Braun looked phenomenal to me.
Didn't he?
I mean, they say they're clocking him at 23 miles an hour off the ropes.
I believe it.
Yeah, and that's a great stat because that's faster than the fastest person in the NFL that they're comparing to and stuff. And
sure,
and he goes off the ropes. I was just saying that in NXT last week. I'm like, look at him run them damn ropes. I've never seen someone do that so good. And it's time for him to come up. And maybe he wasn't going to right away, but now because of the Brock, he's thrown into there. He deserves it. I think Tiffany Stratton's ready too. A lot of people
and
think
this is
she's
my
not.
point, though. You just made my point. Like when we talk about Brock all of a sudden getting, you're not happening, and now Punk is down. As much as that sucks because you wanted to see certain matches, I am gassed right now about what they're going to do because I know they're going to take this lemon and make lemonade.
Yeah.
I
say this with all sports. There's two things you can't control is injuries and referees. And people complain about them all the time, but you can't control them. So what I've been taught as a basketball player and all that other stuff, next man up. That's, the next man up. The people that are waiting on the bench coming up, that's their opportunity. So when stuff like that happens, sometimes you get better performances from people because they know they need to make their mark right then and there.
Sure.
Brock could have come out there and picked his nose in the ring for 5 minutes, and it's Brock. But I kind of feel bad for him too because I don't know any facts about anything wrong. I mean, I get it because he's connected to it, why he wasn't part of it. But and I love Farmer Brock when he came back with I love that shit because it was a different side of him we didn't get to see. That's like, letting these guys be a little more funny and be themselves and shit like that.
I mean, let's be honest. Brock versus Walter or whatever, Gunther, that's a match that we want to see.
Me too. Big time.
That's a match you want to see.
And if you want to bring this back full circle to collectibles and stuff, I think it was really cool how Jade makes her entrance in social media. Her t-shirt dropped during the match. During the match, her t-shirt dropped all over social media.
I got to take a look at that.
When Liv came out at 30, her new t-shirt dropped all over social media. It was, they know that marketing, that no one's ever going to be as good as the machine of WWE when it comes to marketing and promoting. And
even Liv, again, we're all waiting for AJ. We're waiting for Sasha, something, who's the big, and then Liv comes out and it's like, yeah, we missed you. We're glad you're back. But you're not what we were hoping for 30.
All the jokes came out about her just getting out of prison.
Yeah, I had one myself.
The one I made.
Fresh off her tour of the Florida Correctional Facility.
When it was Tiffany, there was 4 of them. Tiffany, Jade, Bianca, and Liv on the barricade. The other 3 were down sitting. Liv was a little bit higher.
Nice.
I got to get my own little.
Nice.
Which I thought, nowadays.
I'll give you one.
I'm saving that for Thursday too, to bring it back. Yeah, I don't know. It was good to see her back, like you said. The same thing, Sammy and Liv at 30s. It was a little anticlimactic. I felt bad for him, but when I think back of it now, though, too, do we have to have a huge surprise at 30 all the time? I like it, but now next year when we do have surprises at 30, it might be a little more impactful because, oh no, they're going to do something like last year. Here comes, Dominic at 30 or something. But
well, think about that time John Cena came back from injury way early.
Yeah.
But he didn't come in at 30. What number did he come in at? 20 or something like that? Maybe even earlier.
Yeah. I think it was done so well, man, throughout both of those Rumbles. Yes, I agree the women's Rumble was better. There was some spots when the women's Rumble were a little iffy too, like Nia Jax a couple things she did, but overall, definitely better than the men's. Definitely better than the men's.
Leave it to Nia Jax to botch a battle royal.
There was somebody who was
getting
thrown over the rope, and they literally grabbed the top rope and pulled themselves over the top rope. And I was like, come on, you can't make it that obvious.
Bronson Reed.
Was it him grabbing the yeah.
It was horrible.
I was like, oh, you're grabbing the top rope and making yourself go over the top rope.
Yeah, it jumped over.
Yeah.
It was bad.
And I've always said this when I call my pretend Rumbles. Stay in the center of the ring. Don't go near the ropes. Don't go on the apron. You don't go on the top rope and celebrate in a Rumble because all someone got to do is pluck you. And, a couple people did it, but I didn't work with the fans. But I thought they were produced very well, done very well. I would have liked to see
you can't say pluck you when Vince McMahon is back there.
Yeah, true.
Freddie says, no, he came in at 30. John Cena, I'm sure he's referring to. Okay, I guess he came in at 30. I thought he came in earlier.
But, I look for a couple things in pay-per-views, PLEs, whatever you want to call them. I want to be entertained. I want to be amused. And I want to be
surprised.
I want to be surprised. Those are the three things. I want to be entertained. I want to be amused. And I want to be surprised.
Back in the day, pay-per-views, you got them because something was going to happen.
Yeah.
Happening. I wanted to be there and see it live.
I use that word a lot in the past. There has to be a happening. Something to go to school on Tuesday and talk to your boys at the lunch table about.
Yep.
And that's one thing that I wish WWE, and they started to do it a little more now, that I'm talking about the previous regime more than now, where you could not watch Raw or SmackDown and you could just watch the pay-per-views because the pay-per-view will tell you everything that happened up before.
Exactly. That's where I'm at now.
Yeah. And you don't have to watch Raw and SmackDown. Now, a little more, like they're doing more on the show.
Yeah.
Like the Kabuki Warriors won the tag title. They're doing some things.
But guess what? I saw that on YouTube.
But in general, for WWE, and this has been for as long as I can almost remember, you could watch the pay-per-views and know everything that's going on pretty much.
Are you a Netflix subscriber?
Yes.
Okay.
I got it a while back. Netflix, Peacock, Disney. I got
God.
Too many of these damn streaming services.
I know. Well, do you have cable?
YouTube TV, baby. Love it.
Yeah, that's what I got. I pay for YouTube and I pay for Peacock. That's it.
I think that's the only other one. Netflix, Disney, Peacock. That might be the only three.
Freddie's defecating on Maxine Dupree. Thoughts?
I wouldn't kick her out of bed for eating crackers. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, she is my happy place. I'm not gonna lie.
she still needs a little seasoning. I guess I could put it that way. But for as long as she's been there, for as many no, I don't.
Yeah, it's like make sure she's on my TV. She can learn on the job.
I'm a guy. I like women, and when I look at wrestlers, yes, there's going to be some that are bigger, that are larger, that I still love. But I want this. I want the curves. I want models. You're on TV for God's sake. You gotta look good. And that's a lot of people were knocking Jordan Grace. She looks like a man. She got a masked up face. And I'm like, no, she's a beast.
Yeah,
she's a maniac. Get it right. But I
respect anyone. I respect anyone who can drop weight, especially a large amount of weight. Jordan Grace, no one that doesn't know, she was fat.
She was big. Gunther.
I mean, she was all not quite Piper Niven big, but she was in
large.
The conversation.
The upper part matched the lower part back.
Yeah, she was a chunky monkey.
She has leaned up and now looks like she's a bodybuilder top to bottom. Phenomenal.
I can't lose 10 fucking pounds, so I respect the shit out of what she's accomplished.
I got mad.
And for the people that want to turn around and say something about she's on roids or whatever. Maybe, I don't know, but
it's not pro sports. They're allowed to be on roids. They have been for decades. There ain't nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. I mean, she got the results. End of the day.
That's like telling movie stars not to get their faces done and stuff, you know? I had another streaming service, Max. So I have 4.
Damn, dude.
Well, I went from what was it, DirecTV? I was paying like $200 a month just for my DirecTV back in the day. And when I went to YouTube, it was like down to 80. So I was like, and then these streaming services are the future, man. They are the future.
Oh, no doubt about it. And again, I watch so little TV anymore. I on regular TV, I watch news occasionally, not as much as I used to because it was polluting my head too much. I watch 90% of what I get is off of YouTube.
Yep, me too.
I mean, besides being a content creator, then I watch other people's stuff, and I can get lost in that rabbit hole endlessly. I've been drowning in 2 hours of just clicking next and next and next into the next.
Prime Video, Amazon Prime too.
I've got that, but I get
That's
that
for free shipping. That's right. Why I got Prime back in the day for free shipping.
Exactly.
Hey, during COVID, man, they had groceries on there. I was ordering my groceries from Amazon. They took it off, but that's how I was getting groceries during that time. I wasn't going out. But the bottom line, what I always say, it's such a great time to be a wrestling fan, in my opinion. I mean, what TNA is doing is phenomenal. The other companies are going to try to step up a little bit too. The MLWs and the NWAs are going to, do things here and there, but they're never going to be. No one's ever. And as much as I love watching AEW here and there, it's lacking right now, and WWE is picking up the pace. But what's that do? What's that going to make them? It's going to make them do better. It's going to make the other companies do better.
It should. But the problem isn't AEW is not the problem. It's not the talent that's the problem.
No. It's a hierarchy, and we've talked about it. It's
not even a hierarchy. It's the guy.
Yeah, and everyone, and shit rolls downhill. Like when your leader dictates pretty much the rest of everything. And I agree with as much as I will be critical of them. People think I'm not, because I'm a fan of them too, because I like that style of fighting better. And I call it fighting instead of wrestling, because I want to get my disbelief gone and think that these are people fighting. I want the competitive nature in there. They're bringing back the rankings, which I'm very skeptical. Let's see how they use them. I think rankings can help wrestling somehow a little bit.
Bringing it back. I thought that was always the thing they held.
No, they took them away when Punk was there. It was gone. They decided not to do them for a while. When he did the Collision stuff, which I really liked Collision at first, when Punk was there and they were doing it. It was
good weeks that he was there.
It was more like a show that I thought they were going to put on. But I think they have time to snap back. I mean, bring in Sasha, Deanna, all these women. They got a great women's roster starting up, but 2 years ago, I could say the WWE roster wasn't that great with women, but now they're a phenomenal women's division. So load up all the companies, man. Let's have some fun. Watch whatever you want, man.
I agree. So James over here might be one of the very few men or people in America that's still behind Vince McMahon. I don't even think Triple H and Stephanie are behind him anymore. I get your point in a way. Now, if it was just a matter of what was gosh dang it, the famous blonde model that married the 80-year-old millionaire and then he died and she got all Anna Nicole.
Yeah.
Anna Nicole.
Happens a lot, James. Believe it. Well, it happens a lot, bro.
Now, here's the joke about though.
There's a joke. The Lakers had if you watch a Lakers game and there's a picture of a 80-year-old man and like a 20-year-old woman, they go, this is the picture the whole way around a Lakers game. If you look, it's all 80-year-old men and 20-year-old women.
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah. Hey, when I'm 80, I'm hoping I can grab a 30, 20-year-old or something too. Why not?
You got to leave my money to someone. I don't got any wife and kids.
The way I look at it is I just want to move on from it. I don't really like this Thursday when I have my podcast. I'm going to come right out and say, I'm going to breeze through that part of the news. I don't want that to be the news. I want that to be the past. But how bad does it suck when you're Triple H and it happens the day before your Big 4 pay-per-view and you've already announced a post press conference. So now you're stuck with two choices: cancel it, which would have been the thing to do, or go ahead and have it and do what he did, which was horrible. Well, what he should have done, in my opinion, was he come out first, Triple H, and say, I know there's these things going on. Let's keep it on the product in the ring tonight for the questions.
Or have a prepared statement.
Because no matter what he said, they were making, now just because he didn't, knock everything that was going on and say this is horrible and I can't believe Vince did that stuff. You know, he can't.
No. That's not what the problem is.
He can't
The
say any of
problem
that.
is what he did say.
He said
And
it's been a great week.
It has been the best week for
in the ring.
WWE.
If he would have said it's been a great week in the ring, it might have saved him. Like his wording was really bad. Like he should have avoided it.
Should have had a prepared statement by a lawyer.
I was so
Got that
surprised.
out of the way right up front, and now I'll take questions about anything else.
I was so surprised because the first question was Nick Hausman, and it was to Cody, and Cody answered it. Cody did a better job than
Cody did a
Triple
great
H.
job answering the damn question right.
Cody needs to be running his own wrestling company someday too, because he's
Yeah,
got
right?
the mind for the business. You can tell.
Didn't he do that once?
Yeah, on his own.
Okay, well, he probably.
Or if someone ever
this
happened
way.
to Triple H, give the reins to Cody Rhodes for fuck's sake. But they should have came right out and said, we're not going to talk about it. You know, we can't because there's legal stuff going on. Let's keep it about the product in the ring and on the TV. That's all they had to do.
And we'll let the lawyers do what they do.
That's all they had to do at the beginning of the press conferences. Or no comment.
Yeah, and not for anything, and this has been a pet peeve of mine for a long time with a lot of different stories that make the news. What happened to you're not guilty until proven guilty in a court of law?
Yeah, that's
now
another reason.
I mean, when you look at the track record of Vince McMahon and you look at the millions upon millions of dollars he's paid out to how many different women,
writing's on the wall.
Pretty sure he's guilty. But that said, he ain't guilty yet. Now, if I'm an advertiser like Slim Jim, he's guilty enough that I'm pulling my product.
Hey, good for them. Good for them for doing that.
But then they didn't because they got rid of Vince.
So
or Vince stepped down because they can't get rid of him based on his contract.
It's wrestling news, but I don't like that to be the headline. I'd rather talk about this stuff in the ring. That's just me. You know, it sucks. It's bad. It's past. And I'm not praising anything he's ever done. But would wrestling be where it's at now without Vince McMahon?
No, come on.
Not at all.
If it weren't for him buying up the territories, if it wasn't for him investing and mortgaging his house and his whole world on WrestleMania, Rock and Wrestling Connection, bringing Cyndi Lauper and the whole MTV crew to the dance, then we're not having these conversations. We're not having our podcasts.
I don't want to know about the personal lives of athletes and celebrities. I really don't. Just entertain me. Because most of them are piece of shit people.
That's why they say never meet your heroes because you'll be disappointed.
Yeah, and I don't want to know about that stuff. It doesn't, I'd rather. It's not that it's not a big deal. Don't get me wrong, because I don't want to be canceled either. I would rather concentrate on the product on screen in the ring. That's just me. The other stuff.
The people that are doing the performing had nothing to do with any of this.
That's like, and I don't really care about Tony Khan's tweets either. That's just him. He's a moron. He's not going to stop doing that. But people that make
he's the goddamn owner of the company. That's the problem with that.
I chalk that up to next generation bullshit, social media, instant gratification, shock value, Howard Stern bullshit. I guess that he's doing. That's just him. I don't like it. I don't think it's right. He shouldn't do it, but he's not going to stop doing it.
No, he's
and
not.
I just don't want that to be the top headline when titles are changing and people are coming back and wrestling's really good.
I guess the problem, though, in his case, the top headline is your ratings are down another 200,000 views.
He's never going to shut up, though. He's not. It's just him.
But that tells me, though, how long can you sustain that?
We'll see. As long as you got this. As long as you got that money and daddy behind you and stuff, we'll see. But it is.
That's why I'm very curious to see what does happen with Okada whenever the penny does drop. Where does he end up? What does happen with Sasha? Where does she end up when the penny drops? Because look at it this way. You got Cody, Punk, Jade. 3 big hitters that all said, I don't want any more of this. I'm going to go over here. Hell, for Punk to say, I don't want any more of this. I'm going to go back to the guy that I did live microphone shit about and I can't stand. I'm going to go work with him.
Well, it was Cody Punk, and Cody's like, it's funny, our paths didn't cross back there, and now it did here, and you got an AEW final too, basically, because that's, that's where they're originally from, but that's where they came from, and it's like, I like that, though. It's not like Triple H is going to say, just because you guys were in the other company, we're not going to let you headline the end of Rumble. No, they're 2 greats of the fucking industry. And people who knock the end and say it's too predictable and Punk and Cody shouldn't be there,
And not for they were WWE guys long before they were
That's
AEW
what,
guys.
yeah, they were. That's not where they originated, is what I said to it. And there is, I mean, you go back far enough. Most of these guys started in small places before they, like AJ Styles isn't a WWE guy, but most people think he is because that's the big ticket, and it always will be. No one can put on a spectacle and produce shows and give out content like they can. No one, and no one ever will. But I want lower competition. We loved the territories back in the day. We've talked about that a million times. I know.
And I think Triple H wants to see that happen.
I think he does too now. And that's such a resounding thing. Just having Jordan Grace there saying, listen, that thing with what's her name last year wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a one-time thing with her as the TNA champ. We got plans to show you that wrestling can be more. There is more out there than just WWE. It's not going to hurt our product.
Put a spotlight on theirs and to share
it
talent
doesn't
a little
mind.
bit.
Yeah. Does that mean we might get there was a quote from Tony Khan too that I heard from last week. He said, if hell would freeze over again in the future, he would not be against working with them. Of course he wouldn't. But I don't ever see it happen.
No, at this point, no. Yeah, Cody was meant to win. I mean, I don't have any problem with that.
And I don't mind. People are knocking, it's the same champ as last year. It's been 26 years since that happened, man.
And let's look at the list of people who have done it. Hulk Hogan. And that was before that the winner was automatically going to Mania for the main event.
True.
Hogan was already the champion.
True.
Against that was when, well, the second time anyway, when him and the Warrior had their little moment. Then you had, what was it, Cena? Cena did 2 in a row, didn't he? Or was it Shawn Michaels?
HBK and...
HBK did 2 in a row?
No, I can't remember. I don't want to quote it because I don't know for sure.
Austin for sure.
Yeah, Austin, I know. They put the graphic up and everything and told us about it. And I'm too old. My
It was
memory.
either HBK or Shawn or Cena. One or the other had to be. But my point being, those were main event guys that were going to be in the main event of Mania, and that was the way to put them there.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited about, Shawn Michaels, Neil Hooper says. It was Shawn.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels. That's what I thought too.
I'm really interested to see how Triple H is going to try to restack the deck for Mania right now, like we talked about a little bit ago, because
I'm not going to have to wait too much longer, man. What time is it? Damn near going on 7:00.
Yeah. But Punk's going to come out and do a promo. He might lead the show and probably explain that he's gone for a while. Which, I don't know.
Yeah. God damn the luck.
Yeah. When I saw that list, I was like, man, injury, suspension, injury, fired, injury. It was like, God, can this dude stay healthy? And they weren't even using him a ton. That's his first televised match.
I know, right? And I think that was part of the logic behind it, is we can't afford him to get injured before Mania.
I think Seth will be okay by Mania, though. I mean, fuck,
he'll be enough to get through a match, maybe.
Yeah, Roman, for fuck's sake, didn't defend his title for 3-4 months at a time. How about 2 months for Seth? Give it, why not? And I thought he was going to relinquish it when he came out last week, but it's like, I don't care what the doctors say. I like that promo. And
Walter, we talked about that last week on one of our wrestle chats. I knew something was up when Nia Jax came back. I said, something's wrong with this.
Yeah.
And then The Rock came out and talked about eating at the head of the table. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's why Nia's back. And then all of a sudden his daughter is the GM of NXT. And now The Rock is the CEO or whatever. He's on the board of directors.
I read somewhere that Ava Raine was planned to be the GM before that.
Bullshit.
But who knows? It was the same day that Rock got named to the thing that she was come out as GM that night. I just like seeing Regal. I was just happy to see Regal.
That was his first on screen.
Yep. I'm just glad to see him back. And he's probably in her ear telling her how to GM and getting hope her through. I would hope. He's such a great leader.
Yeah, I cannot stand The Rock's daughter. There's just nothing about her.
Either.
Nothing.
Doesn't do anything for me. And I'm not just talking her in ring, her look, her promos, everything. I'm just not a big fan.
It's like you don't want to make fun of somebody the way they look or something. I'm just saying she can't get her lips over her teeth.
Yeah, and that's what we were saying earlier. Sex is part of the television product.
Ain't nothing good looking. I mean, you look at her and you see The Rock.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to go to bed with The Rock. I'm
She
sorry.
might be the greatest person on earth, fabulous person, wonderful to be around. I'm not knocking her personally at all, but professionally, she doesn't do anything for me. So maybe being a GM is best for her.
Well, I guess. I don't know.
A lot of people with I don't know if this is not big enough for The Rock, but unless it's like you said, back-to-back nights, Cody wins and Roman comes out the night after, because I missed the night after Mania being a big Raw. The Rock comes out to confront Roman, and that's when we start. And you know what I want to see? I want to see Roman say, you know what? You don't get to fight me. You got to fight Jay. You got to fight Solo. You got to fight Jimmy. Hell, we're going to bring Zilla and Jacob Fatu in. You got to fight those guys first before you can get to me. Then you got a whole program for 6 months, maybe even a year to next Mania, where Rock has to fight every pay-per-view.
Rock doesn't have that time, especially now.
I know.
Now he's on a board of directors. I'm assuming he's still making a movie here and there.
Or even just a gauntlet. Let's see Rock have to run a gauntlet of the bloodline to get to Roman if he can't fight all the pay-per-views.
And which tricep is he going to tear?
Oh, wouldn't that be shitty?
Of course
Rock
it would. And it would
back
happen. It happened to him at Mania.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they're not getting younger. When you're in this age bracket, I don't care how good you look. When you're doing that in the ring, live time. I mean, look, we saw it with Triple H over in Saudi. We've seen it with Goldberg and Undertaker in Saudi. You know, when you get to a certain age, performance, it ain't just about the blue pill anymore. We're talking now.
No. Yeah, Wally, R-Truth in the Women's Rumble was great too. Him coming out and the look on her face when Truth comes out at 24. I really thought he had number 19 because when he picked it out of the tumbler, he goes, "Oh man, does this mean I have to quarantine?" So I thought he had 19, like COVID-19.
Oh.
Truth picked that number. He's like, "Oh, man, does that mean I got to quarantine?"
I like when he went into the Rumble and looked around and said, "Where's all the men?"
Yeah. How about there's a picture of Rhea Ripley before the show sitting in seat number 3. And they say that was a teaser that Bayley come out at number 3 and won the Rumble. You can see her sitting in the stands, Rhea, and you see seat number 2, seat number 4. So she's sitting in seat number 3, and they said that she might have done that on purpose, like a little Easter egg. I thought that was clever.
If that's the fact, then yes, it is.
And I loved seeing Roman and Seth in the super boxes.
Yes.
That was old school.
Yes. Very good look, vibe, and it worked for the storyline. It worked for what they were doing.
And I didn't mind Cody going, "You're the one," picking him right away.
Yep.
I'm coming for you because we're going to get the big dissension with Bayley. It's going to look like Rhea the whole time, and then something's going to happen with Damage Control, and she's going to fight Io. So I love it.
And that's why Sasha's got to come back, because they're going to jump Bayley, and Bayley's going to need her friend.
I would love Sasha to come back for one reason, and that's the 4-way women's match at Mania that never happened. But I think from what I'm reading, they're doing a big build-up for her in AEW and her big return. They're going to treat it like some huge deal, and they need to. They're going to make it work. They should do the same for Okada, but they're probably going to drop the ball.
At the same time, I think Sasha, if she hasn't already signed a document, I don't know that she has or hasn't, but if she hasn't.
I think she has, but I don't know.
I don't know either, and I'm hoping she hasn't, because I think in her heart of hearts, she's like, Vince is gone. Triple H and I have always had a great relationship, and my girl Bayley's there, Trinity's there. We're going to rock this thing, and now the women are really given an opportunity. I think
he's got to throw the world at her. It had to be like 5 million more than what she was going to get there. You're going to come in and win the title the first night or something. It's going to be something crazy like that.
Less than 1 million people will see it.
Yeah. I mean, they have to try to throw the world at her to try to do it, but I don't know. As much as I love Sasha, it might be very anticlimactic, unfortunately. We'll see. And I'm the one that
if she goes there, she'll regret it. That's my. I won't even call it a prediction. I just don't see how it can't go any other way. She's going to have buyer's remorse for sure. She might have a bigger paycheck, but
I mean, there's a lot of matches that we've never seen.
Money in WWE.
There's a lot of matches over there for her that we've never seen, but it's how they do it, like you're saying.
They're generally not having. Again, I don't watch the product at all.
I don't want to see Sasha go over there and fight all the old WWE girls. I don't want to see that.
But then who else is left?
I want to see her fight.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember her name either.
I want
Who?
to see Jamie
Yeah,
Hayter.
that
when
was the
she
name I was
comes
trying to
back.
think of. Jamie Hayter.
Definitely want to see Jamie Hayter.
All right, there's
Britt
one
Baker.
match. How many
I'd love
months
to
are you
see
going to drag that?
Sasha Britt. I'd love to see Sasha and Willow Nightingale, who I'm a big fan of too.
Britt wouldn't be bad either.
Yeah, so there's a handful that maybe she's
Yeah, it's a
only
small
signing for
hand.
1 year. If she was smart, she'd sign for 1 year. See how it is. You know what I'm saying? She'll be Mercedes Moné over there for 1 year, and if she don't like it, bye-bye. Go to Rumble next year and show up.
Yeah, Jay, I'm with you, man. I think it's a Bailey mania. By the way, make the T-shirt. Just give me like 2%.
Yeah, it's
Bailey mania.
But see, for me, I don't call that predictable. Like people are saying, "Oh, Bailey's going to win and Cody's going to win." It's so predictable for Mania, but we don't know how it's going to happen.
And we don't know that it is going to happen.
Exactly.
And even if it does,
Julia Hart, that's another one I'd like to see her. She's really coming to her own, so I'd like to see her. And there's so many that Sasha is such a great worker that she can help elevate some too. And with Serena Deeb just came back, and Thunder Rosa just came back, so they have a really good roster. And we finally got 2 women's matches on an AEW show the other night.
Is that right?
It was Collision on Saturday, which nobody watched because Rumble was on. I didn't watch it. I have no idea.
And this is the thing. I mean, Tony's losing these battles with every other program that's on.
I agree. He's got to do something big soon. This year, he's got to do some big shit. And if he doesn't, there's trouble. I don't think they're going to go away, but they're not making any strides in the right direction, in my opinion, either. And I'm the one that I loved their product a couple years ago, and I still like it, but I think there's a lot of the House of Black stuff too. I've been reading that, Neil. Malachi Black doesn't have a singles match. Can you believe that? He has not had a singles
Malachi
match.
Black is amazing.
And I love him. I love Buddy Matt. That whole group, the House of Black, is phenomenal. And they haven't used them very good at all because they're trying to do all the other bullshit. But I could definitely see those 2 coming back as soon as their contracts go up.
I
don't see anything wrong with that.
Bit surprised.
That's another thing. I really don't see anything wrong with people that were WWE going back, or people that get fired. I really don't see anything
It's
wrong.
not that it's wrong, but what is it saying? In other words, if I'm AEW and I got CM Punk, who didn't come out to go back to professional wrestling for over 7 years, and I talked him back into the ring,
Huge get.
I got to keep him.
Yep.
He's my ratings juggernaut. And then I'm going to let these dumbass wannabe VP, whatever the fuck they call themselves, act like a bunch of idiots. I'm going to let jungle shit cost me CM Punk.
Did you see what he did in New Japan?
Yeah, ripping up the contract, acting like he's something.
Scapegoat on his arm now or something.
Yeah,
Try your best, buddy.
Dumb fuck. Should have wrote.
But I'm not giving up on any. Like we've been talking. I like when the other companies try their best, and but no one's ever coming close to it. And WWE proved it this Saturday, or according to Gunther, Sunday.
Well,
I like how he covered that.
Choose from now,
because he was like, "I'm gonna beat you on Sunday. I'm gonna win the Rumble on Sunday." Did you hear that? Did you catch that one when he said that?
No.
Gunther had a promo last week, and he said, "I'm gonna win the Rumble on Sunday."
Oh, okay. Well, they might have had a second one. Maybe he did win that one.
He came out on social media saying in some parts of the world it would be Sunday 2 a.m.
There you go. Well, it's just like the friggin' thing coming up in Australia. It's going to be on 5 a.m. our time.
I think 4:30 a.m. Eastern it starts.
Yeah, it's like wake up early time.
And a lot of people were saying Rock Roman for that. No, you don't do that. Sorry.
No.
You give them Rhea in the main event.
Yep.
You give them the Chambers. And that's all you need.
Grayson Waller.
Yeah, and Grayson got a big spot to give him a. You know what? And someone said this the other day. Grayson Waller. Wait, who's Grayson Waller? Who's he teaming with right now?
Oh, shit.
Austin Theory.
Yeah.
Him, Austin Theory, and Logan Paul. They are all three, the pricks. They should be the three. They should be the 3 pricks. Put them together. They're all great workers, but they're all pricks. The personas would match so perfectly. If Logan is going to go full time, like he's been teasing.
And Waller's looking good too. I mean, he's good in the ring. He's great on a microphone. He's got a great build. He's not too big. He's not too small.
We saw a talk show at the Rumble. He tried to start a talk show. We saw a tag at the Rumble with Arch. I mean, that's phenomenal. Those are things you never see. So, I mean, if you're gonna take away a legend or two, give us other surprises like that. So I'm cool. I'm okay with. I really like the show. I would have liked one legend in each Rumble though.
I'll tell you, at this point, they're going to have to probably put one of the belts on the Miz because that's the only guy that doesn't get injured.
Yeah, true. That's true. Has he ever had any injuries?
He finally had one about a year ago, and wasn't anything major though.
Yeah,
it wasn't anything like 6 months out.
Don't get me wrong, though. I'm happy they're doing something down in Perth because they're so worldwide. Plus, I mean, you put Rhea in that main event, probably against maybe Nia, because Nia's not going to win, but that's also someone
that's all the heat you would ever want.
Exactly.
And then your only worry at that point in time is that she doesn't fucking hurt Rhea.
True.
Wouldn't be like she didn't do that to Becky Lynch last time out for Mania.
I was worried about Jade when she was in there, and I was like, oh my God, don't get hurt by Nia.
I mean, she couldn't even get herself over the damn top rope to be that fucking God. Why is she there?
I'm trying to make an excuse for it because I'm not a fan of her at all. And it's not because she's big. It's not because I know a couple people that are.
Who?
How you doing, Jason? There's a guy that in a podcast. I don't know if he's tongue in cheek being this way to troll me.
Fucking with you. Nobody likes her.
But no, I get the monster thing. I get the giant thing. I get the immovable object thing. I get all that.
Same thing with Omos because she eats 3 hamburgers a day.
Same thing with Omos. But you got to have something else. You can't just have size.
Yeah, Omos has come a little bit in the last 2 years.
I didn't mind him. Give him a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
He can do stuff in the ring. He's not as immobile. He's not a Kali. He's not as bad. He ain't going to
give you a 60-minute match, but that's not what he's there for.
He's there to be the big, huge monster, and they did right with him this time around, having somebody eliminate him to get the person eliminating him. I just loved the Rumble this year, man. It really did.
Yeah,
the whole show.
It was a decent show. I mean, again, can't watch the men's heavyweight championship match just because I knew what was going to happen, and I refuse to watch a match where there is no chance of a surprise.
There was a couple kind of good. I'm trying to compliment
moments,
them.
yeah.
Like some near falls where they're trying to make the casual fans think you're going to have a new champ, and I get it. So they try.
Roman comes off with a Superman punch, gets caught with an RKO, and he's not going to get pinned.
Yeah. They stack the 3 guys for who was it, AJ to try to pin all 3 or something, which I'm glad it wasn't Roman trying to do that. That was a little flip. So something different, clever. I get it.
But you knew it wasn't going to happen. So what is the point?
Neil, Chelsea Green. I was hoping they didn't do that same thing to her this time around. I think she's phenomenal.
I said it. I posted it on Twitter. She's the most underrated talent in the women's roster today.
She's really good, man. And I love her. She's got the look, the attitude, the Karen type gimmick thing is great.
I don't even care for the Karen gimmick as much. I love like when she gets knocked off the apron and Piper catches her and there's that moment of, oh, I'm going to drop you. Oh, just kidding.
But that's like all her personas kind of wrapped into one because she's the hot mess is in her song and stuff. Like she's the hot mess. She's this. She's Karen. She can do just about anything. She can.
She needs a nice push. They had her and let her go, and then she's back now.
I think that's all VKM bullshit too.
I would kind of like to see her eventually break into this singles role and give us some serious matches, some actual title matches.
Would you like to see a women's mid-card title?
You got enough talent to do one.
Yeah, I was going to say right now they really do. To me, once again, just like the men, I don't like 2 world champions.
No, but a United States title or something like that.
Get that to 1 and have like a international women's title. Yeah, TV
the WWE doesn't have a damn TV title somehow.
No, and I love TV titles.
And that's what sets should be.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Exactly. He's actually running it on TV.
Without the T and the V. Concept. Without the T and the V, it is.
And then you're not taking away from your world title by having another world title.
Yeah.
And even NWA back in Arn Anderson's day and all that, it was the World Television Championship.
I'll die on that hill, man. They don't need 2 world titles unless they go super brand split again.
Which
that's the only reason they did it.
Yeah, but it's stupid.
It is dumb. I mean,
I've always said that we all know it's one roster.
Yeah, and I get the idea behind it because WCW come in and the biggest time was when there was 2 fighting each other. So try to make your own 2 fight each other. But there really wasn't. Like all those blue versus red shows they did survive. It never really,
Nope.
because it was just throwing 4 guys on this show together against 4 guys from that show. They didn't have anything together. It wasn't like, I don't know, the Hulkamaniacs team from the back in the day against these, Bobby Heenan family or something. It wasn't that. It was just people thrown together for the red and the blue. It didn't make sense.
It didn't. I agree.
I don't know why at this point they don't just say there is no brand split anymore. You know what I mean? Because you do see people on different shows, but they won't announce.
They started introducing free agency a little bit, so
yeah. And they have you see people go that are, oh, what are they doing on Raw? They're SmackDown people. There really isn't a brand split anymore, and I'm not mad at that at all.
No. Oh, well, you know what? We're going to be able to see in just a little while what's happening, what road they're going to start diverting to here. I think Punk is going to open the show.
Wouldn't it be great if that's a swerve? He's not injured.
Yeah, it would be great. I can't imagine that's going to be the case.
He comes out and goes, I'm not injured. Don't believe the dirt sheets. I have an open challenge right now. Whoever wants to come out and fight CM Punk, come on.
Where are they tonight? Are they in Orlando or?
No clue. No clue.
I would think I would know if they're in Orlando. I hadn't heard about them coming to Amway.
Speaking of that, besides Nick Nemeth, Dolph, who else did you get to run into while they were there? Anyone else?
Oh, pretty much everybody. I mean,
phenomenal.
Because I'm working there. I'm in there from noon till the end of the night. So they were all just bouncing back and forth. Like I said, I talked to Nick a little bit, told him he's the one guy I made a point of, once the show is on, there are a few guys that'll just stay in the lobby the whole time with their autograph books because the wrestlers go back and forth throughout the lobby to get from where they shoot the promos backstage versus where they get changed and stuff like that. So they'll kind of scoot through the lobby and they'll take a quick minute to take a picture or they'll sign an autograph on their way through, that kind of stuff. So during that time, I'll make a point of saying hi to somebody or you had a great match or whatever the deal may be. What's his name? Gosh damn it. Rich Swann on night 1. I guess he was the opening match and I was in my office doing paperwork, so I didn't see that. But by the time I get back, it's about 30 minutes in and he's just the whole friggin' night standing out there talking to anybody and everybody, man. He just felt like hanging out with the fans, man.
Yes, Neil. Yes, I do. Nothing huge or major, but seeing someone from there in Australia or at Mania, I would not be surprised if we see some more little crossovers. I still think it's weird because you got the Alis and the Dolphs that used to work there. They're not crossing over, but wouldn't it be crazy if Dolph came out?
Maybe it's a new NWO and Dolph is taking over.
Oh my God, he's infiltrating.
But he was the one that I kind of broke my little thing over where it's up until showtime, I just say hi to them, something like that. Yeah. I don't engage with them unless they were to come up and say something. But I mean, I get it's their time. I leave them to themselves. But Dolph was there in the lobby, kind of walking through, and he had that smile on his face already. And I just gave him the old fist bump, and I said, "Dude, you have no idea how happy I was to hear that you signed with TNA." Yeah. I says, and I know these guys never talk badly about the other companies and stuff like that. I was just so I knew that this is where you're going to get the run you should have had, and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. So yeah, we had a real quick conversation about that. He's happy to be there, obviously.
There's so many cliques and friends that are between the 3 or 4 companies now that they should be happy their friends have jobs, and there's 3 or 4 semi companies that are out there where they can get some shine, and it's good for as much as I thought because his brother was in AEW. I'm so glad he's in TNA because, like you said,
that was the same thought I had.
Big time match,
but use that as a point of reference.
He didn't want.
Yeah, maybe his brother told him, "Don't come here. You don't want this shit."
I think he has more opportunity. He could be lost in the shuffle in AEW. And
well, they all are, and that's why I can't understand why Mercedes or Okada. You're both going to get a big push day 1. Yes.
Yeah, they got.
Look what happened to Ruby. They pushed Ruby to the moon for about 3 weeks. Then you didn't see her for 2 months.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling. I agree. I'm agreeing with Vince McMahon once again, guys. Mark your calendars.
So I kind of think there's more going on with the people that know. If you've never wrestled for the WWE, Young Guns or whatever the fuck, Smoking Guns, call them whatever guns you want. If you've never wrestled and you've never been in a place that runs a tight ship, then you might think AEW is a place to be. We got to kind of run, inmates running the asylum. But if you have Sasha Banks, Okada, and you're used to a professional wrestling organization, then you're looking like we are at all this crazy shit going on. And CM Punk leaving, Cody leaving before that, that was your smoke signal.
Wait till you hear this one.
What?
The Guns and Jay White are now teaming with the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. All 6 of them are together.
Of course they are.
They're the Bang Bang Finger Gang. The Bang Bang Scissor Gang. Hey, speaking of that, I think even as big as Punk was a loss, I think Regal was a huge loss.
Oh, come on. Without a
Leaving from
question
there to
or a
go.
doubt,
Big.
the man is a wealth.
He could have been number 2. Tony
Should
Khan
have
could have
been.
been like, Regal, take over. I'm just going to sit back and watch the money roll in.
That, and here's the problem, and this is why I wonder how long AEW can keep hemorrhaging, because Tony, it's the alcoholic thing.
There's so many wrestlers out there, Vince. There's going to be a home for people that aren't in WWE. That's just, and you're right, though. I'm not disagreeing with you, but there's such a wealth of great performers out there now that there's places. The AEW is a place where people can go. But like you said, you got to start
you want to go
why.
somewhere where you're not going to get bettered.
And 2 years ago, I remember talking about it on one of my first wrestling podcasts, like who's going to be the first one to leave AEW? Who's going to be the first one to go? There will be. And I even said, as much as I liked the product at first, there's going to be people that are going to leave there to go to WWE because it's a bigger platform. It's worldwide. It's more recognition. It's better production. It's everything. More merchandise. It's everything. Let me tell you, the day I knew that AEW jumped the shark was when Punk first joined the team, and whatever his first match was, that big pay-per-view, and then they had the post-match. This was before, the having fights and biting each other, the first post-scrum, and Tony Khan came up to him and hugged him. And I don't mean he gave him Vince McMahon has hugged a lot of guys over the years too, right? But he does it in a manly way. I would like
Tony
to jerk you
Khan
up.
hugged him like it was his new favorite toy.
Yeah. It was like, let me give you a reach around in the back type of hug.
No, I mean like a little kid, daddy's home kind of hug.
Andy
And
Price,
I'm watching that and I'm like, you motherfucker are supposed to be the CEO. What the fuck? And even Punk's face said it all. Like, is this really happening
and the memes
now?
were everywhere. Andy Price, that's my boy from my he's a big New Japan guy, so he knows everything about the New Japan stuff. So even him mixed on Okada, how they're going to use him. I'm the same way, dude. I'm the same way. And Okada has a lot to give. He's a star. He's got the music. He's got the everything. Give him a good mouthpiece. Jury's out. I don't know yet. I'm not going to say. I can't say as much as I'm an AEW fan. I don't know if they're going to use those two people right. And those are two. Now Okada, I don't think he would have made a big of an impact in WWE at first because the casual fans don't know who the hell he is. They're not going to know. I mean, once he performs in his look and his demeanor, he is a star. He knows how to work a crowd. He knows everything. But it would have been very like if he came out at 30 in the Rumble, it would have been like half the crowd probably would have went nuts. The other half would have been like, who the fuck is this guy? Because everyone isn't internet wrestling marks like us. Just face it, people. There's a lot of casual fans that just like wrestling.
Neil Hooper has a great point, and I didn't even think about this. Cody was never the AEW world champion.
I know. I think from what I read once that it was in the plans down the road. He didn't want to be the champ at first, but eventually he would have been, but it never came to fruition because of bullshit. And that's
there you go.
I agree.
Again, if you're Sasha Banks, you should be looking at that going, do I really want to hitch my wagon to this train?
I'm really interested to see what they're going to do to her for her to make a real impact because I don't know. I'm skeptical, bro. I'm very skeptical. And that's me just being real.
I'm not sure
going to come in here.
There. I still have belief that if not right before, that at Mania, let's presume this Bayley storyline makes
that would be
Mania.
great if she came back into that story.
It works. She gets to Mania, she beats EO, gets the title, and then Damage Control just jumps her.
She needs help. And who else?
Sasha comes running in, the place explodes, and you got the two best friends back together again. And 2 months later, Sasha will turn heel on her, take the belt anyway.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I don't know if you think Okada has the coins in the beginning of his promo for the Rainmaker, and Sasha has money too in hers. Maybe they'll come together as a team. I just who knows what's going to happen, and that's a good thing about wrestling. Though we don't know how it's going to happen.
No,
it could be a big flop. It might be something that helps them try to get back on track. I don't know. I'm hoping it's the latter, but at this point, I'm very skeptical. I'm more skeptical than I've ever been on AEW, bro. And when have you heard that from me?
Yeah,
I'm normally Mr. Sunshine and Rainbows.
I'm going to start having the same hairstyle as him if I got to hear him talking about AEW positively anymore. I'm like, what the hell is he watching?
I mean, I'm looking forward to Sting's last match. I'm not mad that it's that they're probably going to win the tag titles and then lose them to the Young Bucks in the final match. That's what I think is going to happen. Because as my friend CJ Sensation, who's been a worker for 25 years, always says, when workers go out, they need to lose their last match. You pass.
Well, they don't have to. It depends who the last match is with.
You normally lose your last match when you're going out, is what I've heard from a lot of workers. And they say, it's okay to lose your last match, I guess.
It is. But I mean, if you're the Undertaker, you didn't lose.
It's a different story. He's the exception to every rule.
But there's a few exceptions, I guess, is my point.
For the most part, is what I'm saying. It's okay because people out there get all mad. Oh, it's your last match. You know you're going to win. No. A lot of times they're passing the torch. They have a good match. They hug the guy or whatever afterwards, or the winner leaves and they get this big round of applause to end. And Sting's my all-time favorite. So I don't care. People are mad because it's the Bucks and not someone else, but the Bucks are big heels now. They come back they are now Nicholas and Matthew.
Yeah, I heard.
I like them better as heels, as pricks, because that's what they are. So they're going to be the bad guys. They're going to be the bad guys. Ricky Starks and Big Bill's going to lose the titles to Sting. It's in 2 weeks. Sting and Darby fight the tag titles. So they're probably going to win the tag.
Sting's last match is 2 weeks away?
No, Sting and Darby versus Big Bill and Ricky Starks for the tag titles is in 2 weeks.
Okay.
In March, I think it's 3rd, is Revolution. Sting and Darby take on the Young Bucks. Right now, it's not for the tag titles, but if they beat Starks and Bill, they will be the champs going into that match. And then
we're saying that's his last match.
Yeah, the Young Bucks, he's already said, they came out and he said, who's your last match? Tony Schiavone interviewed Sting last week or 2 weeks ago and said, who's your last match? And the Young Bucks came out. And Sting said, and it's all over social media, it was his choice. He wanted to fight the Bucks in his last match.
Well,
so I can't argue with that.
If it's his choice, I guess fine.
I cannot argue with it because it's Sting.
That's the best you could do, huh?
And you got to protect him. He doesn't need to be in singles matches. So I'm okay with a tag match to end. I'm okay with it. And it's Sting. I love everything he does. I don't think he should be jumping off of balconies and stuff this year, but he did it. He did it. Maybe he always wanted to do that shit. And I hated the way he was used in WWE. I hated it. Fucking hated it.
Yeah, they did him dirty in WWE. But again, Vince McMahon.
Yep. But I'm glad. That's another reason why I got to be glad that there is an AEW, because we got to see one last run with Sting. And as old as he is, to do the things he can do, man, love it.
100% agree on that. Boy, we're starting to agree again.
Hey, and I've said this to so many people that bitch about the old people and this, and there's so many old people in WWE. There's old people. Nick Bockwinkel fought till he was, 60, 70?
Yeah, but he wrestled. There's a difference. That was back in the day where they actually wrestled. They headlocked. You'd have a 10-minute rest hold.
And they could last long. Yeah, definitely. But old people in wrestling is nothing new, folks. These guys, that's what they do. That's all they know. They're going to do it until they physically can't. And
fucking Flair had his last match, 2 years ago?
I'll still say it to the day I die. The star of that match was Jeff fucking Jarrett, man.
It was.
He was phenomenal. Fucking with the fans in the front row. He is one of the best heels
he had
of all
to.
time.
Flair doesn't even remember the match.
I thought it was funny. I didn't knock it as much as people did. And
like
I said, if you're Ric Flair and you want to fight again, go ahead. Why not?
And if
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
I don't want to see it.
Same thing with Hogan. Hogan teased a Rumble. You see Hogan tease a Rumble appearance?
Well, he did appear. He was in the opening montage.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And the 2K24 commercial.
Yeah, that's kind of like when Mike Tyson said, I'm getting back in the ring, but that's because he was the DLC for WWE.
So, I mean, people out there, younger people who aren't used to old people in wrestling, it's nothing new, folks. It's nothing new. It's been around probably before our time when wrestling, it was studio wrestling in the 40s and 50s and 60s. People probably fought until they were physically not able to do it anymore. I don't mind it at all. That's what they do.
Yep. They just have to protect themselves, and they have to change how they do it, especially if they're from a younger generation that
Yeah.
does this Jeff Hardy shit, you know?
Yep. You see people change their finisher when they get older. They do something different. You see them not do as much, and that's fine. That's fine. Wrestle until you can't. That's what you do. It's what you love. And they're the greatest. They're the best. I always say this with pro anything. They are the best. I mean, how many thousands and thousands of indie wrestlers are there that want to be in these spots? You know, I always keep that into consideration too. These are the best of the best. You may not like some of them, and you're allowed to not like them, but these are the best of the best. That's why they're there.
And then if it's not the best of the best, it's Nia Jax. So you got
then there's Nia No More.
You got to have representation from the ones that shouldn't be, but all right, give it to her.
But I think who else would you put Rhea against if you're going to headline that? Look,
again, Nia gets legit heat because no one likes her. Period. It's nothing to do with the heel character. Dom's got the heel character down.
The only thing I don't like, the only thing I would like about that is it wouldn't be a very great match.
No, it can't be because one half of it is Nia Jax.
Yeah, Rhea would have to do some pretty. Not that she can't do phenomenal shit with Nia, but she would have to carry her.
Well,
literally carry her.
Jade couldn't carry her in a Rumble match. I mean,
that's big. That's a lot to put on your shoulder, and that's not weights like lifting in there. That's dead weight. That's a human being.
Yeah, but Nia's supposed to be doing more than half the work.
I know. And she
couldn't get it done in a Rumble.
Trust me, I've ended the last 4 of my podcasts with "fuck Nia Jax."
Well, good. We can end this one with that same quote. I'm going to let you do it. I was going to make you take Jay's line, right, and say goodnight, Blaze. But instead, we're going to go with that one because I actually like that. I might have Jay switch over to that.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Thanks for being here.
Love it. Always love it. Hey, people
I wish
out there.
Jay could have made it through the whole time because it would have been even more with 3 of us going.
This is a perfect example of why tribalism sucks in wrestling. We can agree to disagree. We don't agree on everything, but I love this guy. He's great at what he does. We have so much fun with wrestling, but we don't have to like the same thing. And still have fun with wrestling. So
I
enjoy
appreciate
wrestling.
it. I love what you do too, man. That's why I made you a little commercial and I put that on every stream I'm doing.
I love it too. I'm humbled by that big time. Big time.
You are, man. You got so many different things going on. And
everybody,
you guys know who he is. And I know you've got subscribed to his channel. But if you're new here and first time, then subscribe to mine, then subscribe to his. And we got you covering every base there is that you could possibly want to touch. All right. I'm going to go get something to eat and get ready to see what CM Punk has to say in the first 10 minutes of Raw and watch the ratings drop after that.
He might make you wait till 10:50.
Yeah, probably will. But in the
thanks
meantime,
everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome.
We're going to do another one next Monday for the Collector's Corner. So get some pictures together or get a camera live, whatever you got to do, and show us your stuff, what you got.
Brother,
thanks for showing what you got. Thanks for showing everybody else out here talking about what you got. I want to see some of these mugs and stuff, though. It sounds pretty cool. Some of the stuff people are writing about, as I need to see it now. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, bring it, people. It's an open challenge from Vince McSham here. Bring your shit, people. Let's see what you got.
And I'm going to end up putting the link for this guy again at the bottom of this video later today. So if you want to go on eBay, $125. You can't go wrong. These belts are really good.
Good stuff.
I'm real happy with it. Again, if you want the exact replica, those are $300-400.
Too much.
That's cool. I get it. Some people want that.
You got the money, go for it.
But if you just want something that looks really good and that the average person wouldn't know it's not, I'm perfectly happy with this. It's money well spent, and I like the first one so well that I bought this one. So, all right, it's almost as good as that one.
Or you could go back to trash little styrofoam Velcro on the back. $10.99 from Pro Wrestling Illustrated 1985, brother.
Woo!
Put my name
All right. That's going to be it for me, man. For Vince McSham, so long, everyone. What are the 2 words you're going to leave us with?
Fuck Nia Jax.
Yeah, what he said.